What do RFK and Germany's far-right AFD party have in common? No, I'm not talking about that. I'm Dr. K, a political scientist that looks at how information is shared. And that's convenient because that can mean a whole lot of things. How news is covered, how social media is used in politics, and hybrid warfare. And there is some big overlap with all of those with these two topics, RFK and AFD. Back in April, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced his candidacy for presidency of the United States. RFK comes from a long line of famous American politicians, including his father, Bobby Kennedy, and his uncle, President John F. Kennedy. But he has no political experience himself and seems to embrace misinformation about everything from vaccines to Russian propaganda. In June, in what's being called a campaign misstep, social media users quickly identified a photo Kennedy's campaign was using that was taken on a street in the southwestern Russian city of Krasnodar, which led to a lot of speculation about the authenticity of the campaign and raised questions about why he would use stock image from Russia to promote his merchandise. The mistake has been explained away. The program used to create the image was a mock-up generator called Placeit, and Kennedy's campaign was careless. Yeah, it's humiliating when an American presidential candidate uses Russian stock photographs, and news outlets came to his defense, pointing out that Kennedy isn't the first American politician this has happened to. Wait, what? Really? Yeah. In October 2022, the Arizona gubernatorial candidate, Kari had a video of Russian soldiers marching in a victory parade. And a few weeks before that, House Republican leaders presented an inspirational video that was full of stock footage from Russia and Ukraine. The first time it happened, it was embarrassing. The second and third times, you'd think that avoiding Russian stock content would kind of be on the radar of politicians and their campaigns. But what if the campaign themselves don't have much control over the content because the graphic design services, video, or social media setup are part of what's called in-kind contributions? For certain elections in the U.S., the Federal Election Committee has rules that apply to anything that can influence a federal election, like giving free content creation services. And by using a company to provide media services, it gets difficult to connect the dots to who is really behind or supports certain politicians or campaigns. But maybe not too difficult, and that's where we get to Germany. In Germany, the AFD, a political party described as a right-wing populist and right-wing extremist party, released a video in June. Or at least that's what Russian media said. The propaganda video touched on some uniquely German vibes that was obviously against support for Ukraine. Did you see the little leopard? A nod to the leopard tanks. The video was shown on Russian media with the claim that it was created by members of the AFD party. When asked, a party spokesperson for the AFD said that the party didn't create the video and the AFD only became aware of the video because of media requests for clarification. Using facial recognition software, Radio Free Liberty then identified the actors that were in the clip as professional Russian actors. The matches were given the highest possible scores, leaving very little doubt and strongly indicating that the video was produced in Russia. And the actors have been in other Russian propaganda videos. Why is content from Russia, pictures and videos, showing up in quite a few places? The AFD video and the RFK stock footage might not be connected, but both RFK and the AFD are being amplified on social media in Russia, and not just by social media users, but also the official channels of the Russian state. Like in this example of a Russian embassy. One researcher even points out that the Russian state broadcasters RT and Sputnik have also been heavily promoting Kennedy. That on a Sputnik news search for Robert F. Kennedy, there were 176 articles, and there had only been 4 before that. Things like the video, and the stock footage make people question the authenticity in political campaigns. Voters expect candidates and parties to be transparent and honest in their messaging and in their actions. When manipulated images or misleading tactics are used, it takes away trust and undermines the credibility of people, parties, and political systems. And this is hybrid warfare. During the Cold War period, Soviet propaganda's aim was to convince the world of the rightness of their position. Now, that's changed. It's about undermining people's belief in any point of view to create an environment in which no one can be quite sure of anything. They try to undermine our certainties, and this links back to governance issues. Why are people willing to believe some of the bizarre conspiracy theories that come from RT and other state-backed media? The answer is because people are mistrustful of their own governments and their own politicians. So public disillusionment becomes an opportunity for the Kremlin. When people feel that they've been lied to before, all Russia is doing is tapping into that. And so you believe me? I provided all the sources that I've used to explain this to you in the video description. I'm Dr. K.